All right, joining me now to discuss this and much more is the Transportation Secretary, Secretary Sean Duffy. Mr. Secretary, thank you for being with us here today. This is an issue that you and I have talked about on occasion. I know it's one that is important to both of us. And I don't know if you've seen this video that was given to us here at the Will Cain Show by the American Truckers Association, but I'd love to start with just playing you some video that we shared with our audience just a few days ago. This is a trucker issued a CDL in California, pulled over in Arkansas.
You understand English? You do? Why did you park here? No, no good. Is there anybody else in the truck? Is there anybody else in the truck?
My company.
Your company. Okay, you don't understand English. Pants. Put your pants on.
Pants on? What?
Put your pants on. Pants. Put some pants on.
Yeah, okay.
You don't understand English. What company do you work for?
My company, California.
Your company's called California?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't understand me.
Your reaction, Mr. Secretary.
Yeah, so first up, it begs the question, how in the hell did someone like that get a driver's license, right? Because we have requirements that you have to be proficient in speaking English. And so whether you're at the DMV in California and issuing a license, or the school that tested him that would have said he's proficient as a driver and sent him to the DMV in California, there's multiple trigger points where someone should have flagged this guy that he should not be driving. The problem, specifically in California, but also in other states, is that they're not enforcing the English-only provisions of our federal law. But it's not just that, Will. I mean, this is such a deeper problem. You have, individuals, foreigners coming to the country, some with work permits, and we have states that issue their commercial driver's licenses for long after their work permit expires, meaning it's an incentive to stay in the country illegally. We have some states that don't make drivers show them legal status. They're illegals. They should be deported. Instead of being deported, they're given a commercial driver's license. And then we have some drivers who have no driver's license at all. They're just on the road driving, wreaking havoc. And as you mentioned, or Secretary No mentioned in her clip, they're driving fuel tankers. They're driving school buses, really dangerous things on American roads, and they're endangering the lives of American citizens. I appreciate Kristi Noem and her team. They've done yeoman's work. I don't have a law enforcement wing at DOT. I have to rely on my state partners. And I have great state partners, some of them. Other states are in opposition to what we're trying to do. But Kristi Noem comes in with ICE and has been a force for good in taking these bad actors off our roads.
You do, though, have access to a budget, Mr. Secretary, and that's something you discussed with us a few months ago here in Dallas. And that is these states, whether it be New York or California or Illinois, those were three states mentioned by DHS Secretary Noem. These states need federal highway transportation funds. Now, this was famously used in our past to convert all states to a drinking age of 21. You've talked about this. What can you do to deny funds to, for example, Gavin Newsom in the state of California if they continue to issue CDLs to people who should not be on our highways?
Yeah, so those states that don't enforce our English proficiency rules, we can pull money from. So I already pulled $40 million from Gavin Newsom. But now we look at the commercial driver's license that they issue. We are doing a review right now. We're supposed to do that lawfully, and we are doing it. But I anticipate that $160 million will be pulled from the state of California. And that's just tranche one. That's only 4% of the money that they get from us. We'll go on to another 4% after that, and another 4% after that even. But if it doesn't get rectified by the state of California and other huge violators, other states, we're going to pull their ability to actually issue a CDL. You can't issue a commercial driver's license any longer. We're going to go after the schools that don't test these drivers to make sure they're proficiently equipped to operate these big rigs on our roads. We're going to go after them. We're going to go after every link in the chain that's allowing this to happen, because, I mean, you play these clips on your show, Will. It is horrific. You have a mom and dad out with their kids on a Sunday afternoon, and they're getting rear-ended by a semi driver who's not paying attention. You have a guy driving a semi without pants on. The stories are, I think, would shock the conscience of most Americans. These people should never be on American roads.
Great point, and raises a ton of questions. What was he doing beyond his inability to speak English with no pants and no shirt on in the cab of that truck? But one more link in the chain, Mr. Secretary, the companies. that hire these illegal drivers. That is a huge contributor to this entire problem. I'm sure it is companies looking to cut costs, but they should be paying a cost.
You're 100% right. So we're going to start looking at not just the companies that hire. Again, you should do your due diligence, making sure. I mean, listen, a company can't hire someone and then do so knowing that they can't speak English. Huge problem. They should go through their own instruction course to make sure you have a well-qualified driver. And by the way, if you don't do that, well, your insurance rates go through the roof. So we're going to hold them to account. I also think we have to take a look at the shippers, the people who load up these rigs and send them across the country. There's a lot of interaction between the shipper and the trucker. And if you can't speak English, I think those shippers should be held to account to say, listen, I'm not going to put my load on that truck with that driver because they're breaking the law.
We have a lot of levers to pull, so we'll be watching. And I know that you've already pulled some of those levers, but watching for those other levers to be pulled against companies or, for example, the state of California. Let's also talk about what's happening in the air, or better phrased, with air traffic control. I know you participated in a roundtable with Vice President Vance on how the shutdown is impacting aviation. Today, the FAA has issued ground delays at Reagan National Airport, at DFW International Airport. As I understand it, Senate Majority Leader John Thune is currently, as we speak, sitting through a delay. So what's going on? I know that air traffic controllers are working without pay, but this looks like a problem that's set to get worse in the coming days.
That's right. So in October, we have the best weather and some low traffic. And so the delays have been minimal, though they have been real. But we have air traffic controllers who have gone with a full paycheck that hasn't come through. And every day, well, every family understands that every day there's expenses. There's food, there's gas. If you have a young family, someone might want to play basketball or play soccer, and they can't afford to pay these fees for these sports. And so every day, as this shutdown continues, we're going to see more controllers say, I have to make a choice. Do I put food on my family's table, or do I come in and work for a non-paid position at the FAA? And I think you're going to see more controllers. And by the way, I want them to come to work. I don't want to see disruption. But they're going to start making choices where they're going to take side jobs and not go into the towers. And when that happens, you're going to see a continual ricocheting set of delays across the country, only affecting the American people. One other point, Will, we have technicians. So I've told you we have really old air traffic control systems. We have technicians that work every day, also not getting paid. They make sure the old system is operational so the controllers can do their work, making sure planes are safe. Those guys don't get paid. And so we're seeing the tension, the anger, the frustration from the controllers. And at one point, Democrats have to do the right thing, open up the government, make sure these people get paid, and then sit down and negotiate the real points that you may have and differences with Republicans, but don't hold America hostage. As J.D. Vance said today, don't point a gun at the American people and say, give us what we want, or we're going to shut the government down.
I know you're already suffering through a shortage of air traffic controllers. So to think that they could be walking away rationally, should they not be getting a paycheck, that's a bad sign for what's coming for flight delays, flight cancellations if we don't get the government up and running. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, good to see you. Thanks, man. Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.